Hello, YouTube friends. Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And what you see in the background here, this is my cyber tank. For those of you new to the channel, I am in the middle of a transition from Los Angeles to Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm going to be setting up a new fish room with new fish, African cichlids like the ones that you see here, but also I'm going to be getting into South American cichlids and discus and geophagus, and really expanding what I keep with regards to fish. And so be sure to stay tuned for that adventure as it progresses. But for right now, I'm sharing with you a cyber tank recording of my prior tanks. And what I want to share with you today is that over the last few months, I've been running what is called an Amazon affiliate store. And this is where Amazon gives content creators an opportunity to share products that they would like to share with their viewers. And at my store, there have been a lot of products have sold, and 10 products, 10 fish keeping products have sold the most. And I want to share those with you now so that you can see what actually has been the most popular in time for Black Friday, in time for the holidays, and certainly something for you to keep in mind. I'll give you a comment on each one of the products on why I think they're selling so well and how I've used that product. And I'll go from the number 10 all the way up to the number 1 best-selling product at my Amazon store. So let's go ahead and jump into that, and let's go. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that sub button. I always appreciate when you folks subscribe to the channel. If you're like me, like to always be learning, hit that button. I'm always releasing new content. Even during my transition from Los Angeles to Nashville, there's going to be a steady stream of content. About 30% of the folks that watch the videos are subscribed, so let's get that number up. All right, and those of you know that I have a Amazon store, and you can see the link right there, amazon.com/shop/Ben Ochart. If you use that link to get to Amazon, anything you buy pays a percentage to the channel, a very small percentage. But it's how I help support camera equipment, lighting, all the things that I do to produce content. So apart from you viewing the video, which is a great way also for you to support the channel. So at the store, I get provided analytics, numbers that tell me what's been selling, what's been popular. And I'm going to share with you the top 10 most popular items. And let's go ahead and start with number 10 here, product number 1, and on the list, which is the number 10 in, I'll be working towards the greatest seller, and this is number 10 on that list. It's the CNZ. These are bio balls that give you sort of best of all worlds. And these are bio balls, they're plastic bio balls, which some people use by themselves in their filters. But these bio balls have sponges inside of them. So you get the benefits of bio balls and the benefit of sponges. I like them a lot. I've used them in my filters, and they were part of the most stable aquarium that I've ever owned. The 60-gallon Lethrinops tank had bio balls as part of the combination of media that was being used. So I highly recommend them. They're very inexpensive. You can pick up a large number of them for a fairly low price, and they have a lot of water circulation space around the sponges. So they're good. I like them. I've used them with success, and they're number 10 on the list of top 10, the sponge-filled bio balls. Number 9 is the Expertmatic air pump. And I think this probably sold so well because I did a review on it. It's a very well-made air pump. It has an actual adjustable, you can adjust the pressure of the airflow with the little round, you see it at the top there, it has a little round dial that you can dial in how much air pressure you want. So it's good for sponges, it's good for air stones, has 2 outlets, and it has a valve that if you're running your pump if you're running your air pump below the tank, which is usually not recommended because you can get a back siphon. But this comes with valves that you can put in. It comes with airline, airstone, and valves so that it prevents a back siphon from the tank to the pump, which is good. So it sold very well. It's number 9 in the top 10. I recommend it. I like it. It's quiet and it's powerful. Next, we have pre-filters. And for those of you who follow my channel, you know I use pre-filters. I use them on my FX6, Fluval FX6 canister filter. And I'll include some links to some of the reviews I've done on these products, above. I'll include some links as we go along, and you've probably seen some already. And these pre-filters work great. The one that I use on the Fluval, I picked up from Corey up at the Aquarium Co-op. It's a very large filter. Buy these pre-filters or make them yourself, but use coarse. Use the filter that is more coarse, that allows more of a flow so that they don't get clogged up quickly. They prevent guck from getting into your canisters, into your filters, so you can extend the amount of time between servicing your filters. And that's a great thing if you're like me. Canisters are kind of a pain to work on, and this allows you to extend the time between servicing. And if instead of your fish food, your expensive fish food getting sucked up into the filter, they get caught on the outside of the filter, and the fish come along and they peck it off the filter. So you're wasting less food that way. So I'm a big believer in pre-filters, and that's been one of the best sellers at the Amazon store. Next, we have the Pinky product, and this is my favorite floss. I was using the bed, the crib batting, that polyfill floss. I was using that, but I would notice that it would come apart, and I'd end up with these little white fibers inside of sponges or wrapped around media. So I went to something that for me was a cleaner solution, and that turned out to be the Pinky floss. It works really well. Just be sure that the flow of water is hitting the white of the Pinky first, and then the pink. So if, let's say, the pink is here, the water should be flowing this way through the filter. So it goes from a coarse to a finer filtration media. So Pinky floss, you can cut it and have it shaped to fit any application that you need. And I like Pinky floss a lot. I would keep it in my hang-on back filters. I put a piece of Pinky in the hang-on, and sometimes I'd keep it at the top of the Fluval FX6. And it's just a great filter product, highly recommended by me. I'm going to have links below this video that you can get to any of these products, and you can also use the general link that goes to my Amazon store as well. Next on the list, we have these mesh bags, and I like that came up high on the list because it means that you folks are doing a lot of do-it-yourselfing. In other words, you're buying activated charcoal, activated carbon, you're putting it in the mesh bags and then putting it into your filters, or you're putting media in a mesh bag so that it's easy to pull out of a filter, put back in a filter, easy to clean. These mesh bags are awesome. I highly recommend them, and it makes working on filters very easy because you put all of your you put all of your bio balls or your ceramic rings or your Biohome or your matrix into a mesh bag, and then you drop that into your canister or into your hang-on back. And to clean it is simple. You just pull the mesh bag out, give it a rinse in tank water, put it back in, you're good to go. Very fast, very simple. Mesh bags, highly recommended and available at the store. Next, the next bestseller, as we go up the list towards what's the bestseller, the next bestseller is the Biohome Ultimate. Biohome Ultimate was part of my most stable 60-gallon setup. I'll include that link to that video up above here, and you can see the video on what I called the most stable aquarium setup that I ever had. And Biohome was part of that setup. Nitrates were always low. The fish were very hardy and actually withstood illness that would come through other tanks. They would simply not catch it, even though there was a little bit of cross-contamination looking back on how it went. So the Biohome was part of that filtration system. Good product, very solid product. Stayed together and stayed solid. Actually was more solid than the Marine Pure Sur Media that I was using. The Marine Pure was actually falling apart a little bit after several years. The Biohome stayed rock solid, and I would put it in mesh bags and pull it out, rinse it, put it back in. Very good product, owned by and recommended by Pond Guru, who I've had the pleasure of meeting and who is very passionate about taking care of fish. So the Biohome Ultimate is a product that is high on the list. Next, Purigen. Purigen was a bestseller, is a bestseller at my Amazon store. And great product. If you have a young tank that hasn't really matured yet and is still getting a little bit of cloudy water, and you want to speed up the process of making that water crystal clear, use Purigen. Purigen will work. There are other products out there, of course. Your ChemiPure products, charcoal works, activated carbon works. I like the Matrix, Chem Matrix carbon, activated carbon. But Purigen, it's a bit of a miracle product. You put it in your filter and it totally cleans up the tank and works very, very well. And you can recharge it. So you can use it, anywhere between 6 to 10 times, depending on your bio load and how long you go between cleaning. So it's a good product. I recommend it, and it's been selling very, very well at the Amazon store. Next are the cartridges that go into the Marineland hang-on back filters. Marineland makes those. They make the filters with the bio wheels, and you can buy their cartridges, and they work fine. I've used them. But if you want to save some money, and I'm always big on saving money, make a one-time investment into these cartridges. And I fill mine with pinky floss. And just make sure, again, that as the water flows to the tank, you have the pink facing forward so that it hits the white and then the pink. And then you pull them out, like once a month, pull the pinky out, give them a rinse, put some new pinky in, drop them back into the Marineland Emperor, in my case, a Marineland Emperor 400 hang-on back filter. And it makes changing out media simple and very inexpensive, as opposed to buying the Marineland cartridges. The people at Marineland would prefer that you buy their cartridges. It's how they make some profit, I get it. But if you want to save some money, I recommend buying the plastic refillable cartridges and putting the pinky floss in it. Next, the number 2 in the top 10 and number 9 on this list that I'm sharing for you is the pond filters that you cut yourself, and they're in the egg crate pattern. The egg crate pattern makes sure the water is hitting the egg crate, right? So you have the egg crate and the water's traveling this way. This gives you more surface area. So you're getting a lot more bang for the buck, a lot more sponge for the sponge surface area than you would with a flat sponge. And so I really am a believer in these egg crate filters, and you can cut them to shape to fit any kind of filtration. Hang on back, I would cut them to shape to fill SunSun baskets for SunSun canisters. I would use them in my Fluval canister filter. So you buy the sheets and they're reusable. You just rinse and reuse. And I was using the same filters for 4 or 5 years. They don't come apart. They're sturdy. And it's like the last filter you'll buy for your canister. They'll last forever. I set them up so that the water, depending on the flow of your filter, have them so that it's hitting the coarse filter, then the medium, then the fine. So the water is traveling through coarse, medium, and then fine. And you'll get great filtration, and because they're reusable, it's a one-time expense. You cut them to shape. You just have a template. You just cut them to shape, and you're good to go. And I love them. So what's been the best seller? What's been the best seller at the Amazon, at my Amazon store? The best seller has been the Expertmatic DB368, and that is the filter with the 3 different compartments, and it comes with 3 sponge compartments. It's a filter that is it's several things at once. It's a power head, so it gives you water movement. It's a bubbler, so you're getting oxygenation, water surface breakup. And it's of course a sponge filter because it pulls the water through the 3 sponge compartments. There's a small middle section in the middle of each compartment that has carbon. You can pull that section out, and you can throw out the carbon after a month and replace it, or after a couple months, depending on your bioload. You use a pair of tweezers, you open it up. You can put other media in there. You can leave it empty. That's up to you. I really like these units a lot. They have what they call a venturi, which is a little a hose that goes to the outside. That hose sucks in air. That is then goes through the output and creates a bubble stream in your tank, a very strong bubble stream. And I'll put some links to some videos up here, and you can see my review on it. And also how simple it is to clean. It takes 5 minutes to service it. You attach it to the side of your tank, and you let it run for a month. And then when the pressure of the bubbles start to go down or stops, you know it's time to clean it. So it tells you when it's time to clean it. You detach the bottom piece. You just simply pull it off and run some water through those sponges, or some tank water, depending how you do it. If you're counting on those sponges for beneficial bacteria, then you'll want to rinse them in tank water. If you're like me and you had a lot of substrate and a lot of other media in other filters and are using it as a secondary filter, you can go ahead and rinse it in tap water. 5 minutes to service. Push the 3 compartments back together, push them in place, and you're good to go. So that is by far the best seller, probably because of the review video. And again, I'll put the link up above on the review video I did of the Expertmatic. It's inexpensive, creates a lot of water movement, oxygenation, sponge filters. So it's an all-in-one great unit for like a 40 long, like a breeder, something like that, for a 29, 40, maybe up to a 60 gallon. If you had also a hang-on back or a canister, it's a great secondary filter for water movement, oxygenation, and water clarification. Okay, so those are the top 10 best sellers at my Amazon store. Be sure to visit the store. Here's the general link that you can use to get to the store. I have a whole variety of products in there that I've tested and that I use and that I recommend from many years of fish keeping. And I also have even products there on how I create videos and stream, what cameras I use, what computers I use. Everything is in there. And so visit the store, especially with Black Friday and the holidays coming up. Okay, so that's my top 10. And again, be sure to hit the sub button if you like the content of the channel. It's very appreciated. And that's it for me. Thank you so much, my friends. You rock. I appreciate you stopping by. And be sure to comment, rate, share, all that good stuff below. I do read your comments when I can, and I do reply. Thanks again for visiting the channel. And that's all for now. Bye-bye.